Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Damien Liversidge, the host for the Fight for Life podcast and this show called The Book Corner. Today, we've got a special guest, Kim Vermaak, who has recently just finished her book and she is going to be launching it very soon. Welcome, Kim, and thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you for the invite. I really appreciate being here.
Now, guys, it's really important that you know that Kim's got a really unique book. It's really aimed for the young adults out there, but anyone can basically read it, which is amazing. And the lessons that you learn from there is even more valuable in this book, and that's what makes it so unique. So, Kim, tell me, what made you write The Great Dragon Rescue?
Well, a little bit of background history for me. I am adopted, and I was only actually adopted when I was in my teens. I was in foster care for many years, but the adoption formally only came through when I was in my teens. And because of that, there are a lot of times that I felt pretty fearful in life. I had the most amazing adopted parents. They really were incredible. They taught me about the hope of new beginnings. They helped me to try and be courageous. But there still was a lot of that fear element. And what I found is that when I was reading books, I could experience the world through people that had done amazing things, and it helped me to find my courage. So as I journeyed through life and I became a mother myself, a few years back, I can't remember the actual date, we went through our first lot of load shedding. And it was a very scary time because we weren't prepared. We didn't have gas cookers, or we didn't even have candles in the house when it happened, and it was in winter and it was freezing. And my then little daughter, she was rather terrified. So what I would do is I would make up stories for her. And it started evolving to a place where she used to, I'd say to her, give me the names of two little characters and I will make a story around that. So I've always told stories. And then she continued to encourage me to write, but I didn't write. I became quite fearful, the rejection. I think sometimes when you do suffer any kind of abuse or abandonment when you're younger, you've got a greater fear of rejection. So sometime after that, I had a friend who popped over and said, I think you should do this. And she helped to eliminate some of those boulders of fear. And then when I thought, what shall I write? I've got a very adventurous daughter. She is just like so out there, stubborn, adventurous. And very often she's being reprimanded because, quite frankly, she does dangerous things, And for our job is like, we love her, but we just want her to reach adulthood alive. So the challenge with having a child like that is they can get to a place where they think, oh, I've always been shouted at, and I don't really want you to experience that. So in my mind, I decided I wanted to write a book that celebrated who she was. But over and above that, I've got a knack for teaching young people, of taking a concept that's maybe quite big and putting it down into story format and then breaking it down that way. So I decided to apply that skill to the book. So the book is essentially about a young girl who wakes up one morning and her home and her whole village is being consumed by a fire-breathing dragon. And the book has got a lot of metaphors in it. So that fire-breathing dragon for someone else could be huge amounts of debt, or it could be some kind of toxic relationship that they're in. There's always a catalyst, and we can feel trapped by those kinds of things. So in this book, the reason the dragon is super angry is that someone has learned a prophecy that if you take a hatchling when it is still very young, away from the mother before it's had time to bond, you can turn it into a destructive force and you can turn it into a weapon. And one of the villains in the book decides to do that. When the dragon realizes it's happened, she sees that the hatchling has actually come through this village, and she takes all of the villagers captive, and this one girl gets left behind. So the book is about her journey on how she's going to retrieve her family. And at the end of the book, there are a lot of lessons that you can learn from it. So one of the things that I put down as a lesson that you can learn is this dragon. She is furious. I mean, you would be furious if someone took your child. I mean, all of the moms were like, I'm going to go real gung-ho on you to get my child back. So she's got this fury, and in the fury and the rage that she does, and burning down the village, she burns away the scent of the hatchling, which now means that she's unable to trace its scent. And over and above that, she actually turns the villagers away from her.
Mm.
And the metaphor for that is that sometimes we go through stuff, really traumatic things, and you've got a right to be upset about that. But in your journey, while you're exercising that out, do you draw people alongside your cause, or do you repel them? And I think in our society, we've got a lot of people that live with trauma and they marinate in the trauma. And when they're marinating in the trauma, they become toxic to other people. And later on in the book, someone actually sees through the dragon her vulnerability and realizes why she's acting this way. And when that happens, she's able to draw alongside her people that will stand for her cause. So the whole book is just this medieval fantasy fiction that just erupts out into the world. And in there are a lot of people that you can learn from. And that's why I wrote it, because we have got shelves and shelves of motivational books at home. I collect books like you cannot believe. But I'm a mom and I've got 3 kids, and then I'll get to chapter 3 and I'm like so excited, and then that book goes onto the shelf. And I really, really want to read it, but I just don't get around to finishing it.
True.
But a novel, I will say to the kids, and it happens probably like 4 times a year, Mummy's reading a novel this weekend, and I am finishing this book. A novel, you'll sit until 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and you'll devour it. And that's really what I want to be able to do, is for young people to be able to read the book and assimilate what's happening in their novels and see what the lessons are that they can learn from other people's lives.
True.
So it's also for mothers to have a look at it, to see what teens go through, what their thought processes are. And yes, anyone can read it. I was speaking to a lady at church the other day, and I spoke to her about a certain concept in the book, and she's like, I never thought about it that way. So that's what I wanted to do. I wanted people to be able to celebrate a very interesting time period in history, and to be able to learn and to share with other young people that they feel can benefit from the book.
Well, it's actually quite interesting what you said about the whole self-help books that actually become what they call the shelf-help books. And it's true. I mean, I rather want to read a novel than a motivational or let's put it as a self-help book, where, you know, it's all these advice. I don't want that. I want something that is more exciting, a little bit more, you know, it's life-based as well, which obviously your book is all about, because as far as I know, the main character is actually based on your youngest, isn't it?
And my middle child.
Middle child. As you see, guys, I don't even know this. So what can I say? But obviously the middle child. And obviously she drives her poor husband around the bend every now and again because of her adventurous little, you know, how she like just depicts herself. I mean, I saw her one time. I'm like, okay, she's definitely adventurous, because I saw her at the one networking that we're a part of. And, you know, like you said, it is for everyone. And a lot of people, I think, like you said, society needs something like that, because I have found over the last couple of years that people tend to forget that whole, you know what, I've got something in me that can actually make a difference. And I mean, obviously, just about what you've told me over the last, let's say, few weeks that we've chatted over the book, is it really is a real motivational novel, because you look at it and you go, hang on, but it's not just for obviously the girls out there, but it's also for the gents, because they can take whatever lessons have been in there and maybe just like take a little lesson that's for yourself out there. Because I felt that, you know, just by, you know, the whole the way you explained it was like, I'm waiting for the book to come out now, because I'm gonna buy it. I'm just saying, I'm putting it out there on camera, so it's you know, you can hold me accountable. But when are you actually planning on launching it, or where will they be able to find it in the near future?
Okay, so the book is already available on Amazon in the Kindle version, and we have got test copies out at the moment. So the test copies is just that sometimes in print there are a few little glitches that will come up, like little formatting issues and those kinds of things. So we're working on that at the moment, and then Round about at the end of October, beginning of November, we'll probably do a book signing at Bargain Books.
Oh, lovely.
So they have already received their test reader copies, so they can go through it, and our test readers are working through it. But I'm actually very happy that you mentioned the thing about the gents, because yes, the book's main character is female, but there's a lot of really good lessons there for guys. Um, a lot of the people that she interacts with are male, and they come at all different ages. I asked my husband what he learned from the book. And with the villain, people say, what can you learn from the villain? Well, actually, you can learn a lot from the villain, because our villain also experienced quite a bit of a trauma. And you find with serial criminals, they often will say, oh, well, it's because I was physically abused as a child, and that is a reality. We live in a world, in a country where people have actually gone through very, very real traumas.
True.
And sometimes they feel entitled to hurt other people because of the pain that they felt. But one of the things that my husband mentioned to me is the villain, he always tries to find a way to win. It doesn't matter if he tries this angle and that plan fails, he tries another angle, he keeps on going. And my husband said, what would the world be like if good people had that same attitude? It doesn't matter what I try, if it doesn't work, I'm going to try again. Because there's so many men and women with good hearts and good intentions, and when trouble comes their way, they throw their hands up and they're like, try that, it didn't work. And we as a society need men and women who will say, it doesn't matter what it takes, I'm going to keep on fighting the good fight.
So true, yeah. I mean, we live here in South Africa, and I mean, like you said, here in society, in order to change what's happening out there, we need the good men as well as women as equal, not just, okay, it's women and it's men, but together because of the unity over there. But I just want to speak a little bit about your husband, Colin. Now, obviously, he has to put up with you while writing this whole novel that you've gone through. But I mean, every single time, what people don't realize is her husband actually took the time to really just, go through the book as well. And I mean, this guy's a real legend for doing that, because I don't know many guys that will be going, okay, let me help you, even whether it's been editing or whether it's reading. But the nice thing is, like, when Colin just pointed out on the villain side of things, it actually makes sense, because it's true. When the good guys, when I say good guys here in actual society, we actually tend to give up a little bit quicker than what the bad guys will do, And I found that, when tough times come, you just like, I don't want this anymore. It's like I'll just give up. This venture's too hard, or this new business is new, but I'm not getting somewhere. But like for me personally, just by the way uh, that explanation was, like, every angle. I mean, because I had a new business, the podcast, everything, I had to find new angles, and here I am. I'm interviewing Kim now. That is just like really just put it all together, but. I wanted to ask now, obviously it's on Amazon. Bargain Books is going to have a book signing quite soon, end of October, November, somewhere there. Now, let's say they want to find out a little bit more about it. Let's say, for example, they want a little taster. I know you've got something out there that's already. How do they get hold of that? Because I know I'm going to be putting a link on there, but just for those guys that are like very eager now while watching this, how do they get to, like, those? You said you have a few chapters available. How do they get hold of that?
Okay, currently what I've got is I've got a 3-chapter review. So people can gain access to the 3-chapter, but we are limiting it to 100 downloads.
Sure.
So what I will do is I will share the link with you. It will take them to a landing page. They can put in their email address, which will allow us to then communicate with them on things that are going to be happening. We will be doing a newsletter with different kinds of issues that people face. And then they can download the prologue and the first 3 chapters for free. and find out more about the book. And I really want to encourage people, don't just think about the book for yourself, think about the people in your life, because yes, I'm blessed in the fact that I have got a gift to be able to break down lessons for my children. But a lot of people are really busy.
True.
And they don't really have the time to do that. Plus, TV and stories basically have been down to entertainment value only. And this book helps to take you back to the real purpose of stories, and that is to teach and to learn. So even if you're a busy dad or mom, you can give this over to your team and let them read it. But disclaimer, it is not a children's book. Okay,
Putting it out there.
Yes, it's not a children's book. It is a teen young adult book. We live in a society that's not all roses.
True.
We need to have tough people who can have tough conversations. And some of the concepts in this book is actually about the tough scenarios that people face. So it's not a gruesome book. It's got no sex in it, no nudity, no swearing, but it's got a couple of tough concepts. And so please don't think that it is a children's book. My friend looks at my face and says, "Oh, you're so sweet. How can you write a book like this?" Because it is real life that's in there.
Yeah, so guys, just remember, it is not a kiddies book. It is literally for teens. So I would say high school, because that's basically more or less where it goes at. And obviously, if you're a young adult, even if you old and grey, it doesn't matter. It's literally for anyone except for kiddies. Let's put it there. You know, you put the hashtag disclaimer out there. So yeah, so Kim, it's great to see that you are pushing. I know this is part of a series. I don't know how many books you are doing. I think you said about a 3-book series, or am I more?
It will be a 4-book series.
Okay.
And then while I've got a little free giveaway that's also going to come out called the Dragon Whisperers Field Guide.
Oh, nice.
Which will, while I was journeying along, I found that there's a whole culture of people who love dragons. And they start asking questions like, what does this one do? And what can this one do? And so I actually designed a free little field guide. That's for people who already subscribed. We'll be sending that out as well. And that tells you on the history of dragons and the purpose of dragons. And, it also speaks a lot about the fact that, yes, we're putting dragons into like a fantasy place, but it basically tells you that every single person, species on the planet has got a purpose. And when you eradicate a certain culture because of fear and ignorance, you actually are doing the world a disservice. You're doing yourself a disservice. And in the field guide, you get to find out what the purpose of each of those dragons were, and then you'll be able to understand in a story format why we are all interrelated, why everyone matters, why everyone is a piece of the puzzle, that you can't just eradicate an entire culture just because you're different.
Yeah, no, so true. And I like the word when you say you can't just eradicate, because there's purpose in each, and not just for us, but creatures as well. I mean, it's quite cool when you said, there's a field survival guide type of thing coming. And like my inner nerd is kind of screaming, because I'm very big into like the Skyrims out there. I mean, I know there are a few gamers that do watch this, so I know they're going to be interested. So guys, stay tuned for this, because I will be letting you guys know when that book launch is happening, especially if you're here in South Africa. It will be here basically in Johannesburg, here in Gauteng. So if you are here during that time, watch the page, watch the group, and just keep an eye out, because I might just jump on a live and say, guys, remember Kim that spoke about the Great Dragon Rescue? It is coming now. So stay tuned, because really it's going to be an awesome thing. You get to have it signed by her, and it's going to be awesome. And then you can actually just speak a little bit more about the book, or just find out little bits, not too much, because she's not going to give away a lot. Because us authors, we don't like giving away everything, because we want you to actually experience it as a whole. So Kim, thank you very much for jumping on here, and I really do appreciate it. And all the best for the upcoming launch, because it is going to be amazing. I'm going to be there, so if you guys are there, come visit and just join and say and make sure you put hashtags and all that you've been there. So let us come and support, and I will be back again soon. So thank you very much again. It was awesome to have you. So awesome to have you on the book corner. And yeah, so I really do hope that the next couple of books will just fly off the shelves as usual.
Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. So,
Oh,
here we go. So, guys, stay tuned for the next one. We will be back after, or I will be back after these few messages, and then we will go a little bit more in detail of all the things on books and even the whole self-publishing process. Have a great one, guys, and stay tuned for the next segment.